On a previous episode of Car Pervert, I came here to Swindon Power Train to drive the Swind E Classic Mini with modern electrified underpinnings. But I wanted to come back and come to the factory here because this place is fascinating. They started off doing things like Formula 1 engines, World Rally engines. They've been here for nearly 50 years. They do the British touring car engines. And that's the weird thing about Swindon Power Train. On the one hand, they still do fire-breathing piston stuff. And on the other, they do 21st century EV stuff. And I'm really keen to show you this kind of juxtaposition. So follow me. Let's have a look. Energetic stair running. So when you bought the company, when was it, 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
It was pure piston power, wasn't it?
It was 100% about piston power. And I will be honest with you, 10 years ago, I saw electrification as something that would certainly come in, but I thought it would be much slower than it's been.
Okay.
5 years ago, as a company, we decided to embrace electrification and come into the field of electrification and actually do business in that field because we see it as an essential part of the development of our firm.
Yeah, because I can see this is the new thing that people are trying to aim for, is that I want to convert a car, be it an old car or a new car, or a newish, second-hand car, with an EV drivetrain, but I want something it's quite simple. Would you call it idiot-proof?
We say turnkey.
Okay, so that's idiot-proof, I reckon. Yeah.
We're currently concentrating on the powertrain itself, so basically what is sitting behind the wheels that we're driving. An electric motor, a transmission, a differential, output to the drive shafts, and then further on from this, it also includes the inverter. Mm-hmm. Then many different things can happen because the rest of it is very much vehicle dependent. Yeah. We've talked about battery integration and packaging within vehicles. That's really vehicle dependent. But the unit itself, the powertrain unit itself, can really be an off-the-shelf product that people can buy from us in the future. And we call it HPD for high power density, not because it's the most powerful, but it's because its concentration of power is very high. Yeah. It's extremely compact for a power of up to 100 kilowatt.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. So what's going on here then?
Ben, with one of our senior design engineers, is working on the design of a new battery pack for an automotive application.
So that's like a T-shaped battery module, which is pretty popular, isn't it? Goes along the transmission tunnel, maybe under the seat.
That's right.
Yeah.
In a package, and this is what's key about battery packs, is that they're very much involved in the architecture of the whole vehicle. They're usually integrated into the floor of the vehicle. Previously, we have a module that we have developed that can then be assembled. We can join several modules together in order to make a pack that can go into various kind of vehicles. Yeah. You can see each cylindrical battery.
That's right, yeah.
In there.
Those are they the same kind of cells that you've got in the Mini?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, these are battery mini modules. So.
Yeah. The Mini is a test mule, kind of a proof of concept for you guys, isn't it?
That's right.
The master plan is obviously to sell a kind of plug-and-play style.
A turnkey e-powertrain. That's what we call it. We will go into production in July this year.
Okay, so quite soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing that excites me. Well, I also love the fact that you're saying 50-50 combustion and electric.
Yeah.
Where are we going next after the design room?
Which
is lovely and warm and quiet.
Are going to go next to see some exciting engines, shall we?
Show me some engines. Engines? A corridor of engines?
A corridor of engines.
Brilliant. So it's great, they're right by the toilet, so I can hang around the toilet, look at some engines, great. So are these finished, ready to go?
So assembly work on these engines has been completed, and they're waiting to be dyno tested. They're in the queue for final inspection, effectively.
Oh, okay. So they've got to be so precise because they're a race series engine, and you don't want to unfairly give people an advantage or a disadvantage.
So you're absolutely right, Jonny. There are two aspects. The number one aspect, we want to win.
Yeah.
So they've got to be as good as we can produce them.
Yeah.
Number two aspect, we have a duty to give all our customers the same chance to win. So we can't afford to have an engine a little bit down on power. They've got to be all of them right up there.
Wow.
We've got to be fair.
What is that engine based on?
Some of the components are from an OEM and have been produced by thousands.
Okay.
And the reason why we use them is to keep the cost contained.
Yep.
Most of them are our design. Some of them are our manufacture. Others we subcontract manufacture. All the assembly is done here. All the development of the specification is done here.
Is this your busy time for engine supply? Now?
In terms of engines needed to come out of the door,
Yeah.
it is hell.
Okay.
Everyone wants their engine yesterday. We can't make them for yesterday.
Okay.
We do our best to make them for tomorrow.
How many hours per engine are we talking in a typical build
So
time?
the assembly work is around 40 hours. So the
Okay.
assembly work is not that big, but there is quite a lot of manufacturing of components that's happening here. And obviously that time is additional to assembly.
Yeah. Can I see who these are going to?
No.
I want to know whose race car that one's going in, whose race car that one's going in, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I count 4. Yeah, it's definitely 4.
In total this year we're manufacturing 20 engines and they will power 16 cars. So out of 30 to 32 cars on the grid, 16 will have engines coming out of Swindon.
Wow. So a lot of interesting engines have come and gone through these doors.
Yes,
over the
indeed.
years.
In the 70s and in the 80s, a lot of DFV engines were maintained and built here.
Okay.
And have won many Formula One races.
Wow. You haven't got any spare ones kicking about, have you?
No, we tend to, as far as motorsport is concerned, we tend to concentrate on the more modern stuff. And currently, and for the last few years, BTCC has been our focus.
Yeah.
Touring cars in the 90s, a lot of Swindon engines.
I love a 90s touring car.
FIA 2 litre, those were the days.
I have a hunch that this is the quietest it will ever get in this room.
It's often screaming.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is why that door's as thick and
It's
heavy
very
as it is.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all about testing the engine, its performance, but also doing a lot of measurements which are to do with temperatures, pressures, and flow.
Yeah.
The aim is to run the engine in a controlled environment. So if you see a big feed of air here coming from the outside, it's actually coming from a climate control system so that the air coming to the engine is at a stable temperature. And this is true for every fluid that travels through the engine.
So there's the air intake, there's the turbo.
That's right.
Intercooler. Yeah.
Every year we must be close to 100 dyno tests in average for these engines.
And you have people from Swindon out in the field, as it were, at like touring car events.
That's right.
Offering support.
We offer them engines, of course, but also the cooperation with the team in order to help them to achieve their aim, which is usually to win the race.
Yeah. Let's say I woke up tomorrow.
Yeah, and you wanted one?
And I just went, I fancy an official touring car
Jonny,
engine.
we can make one for you.
And would you want it? You know, normal people can buy them.
Yes.
And how much would you sell that engine to be for?
They are a little bit under £25,000.
25 grand. See, in motorsport terms,
it's
actually
excellent value for money. It will do 5,000 kilometers of racing before it needs to be refreshed.
That's actually, that's quite a lot for a race engine. That's all right. I'm getting choked up as well. It's actually quite emotional. Yeah. 25 grand for an actual touring car approved engine, do 5,000 race miles. Road miles, it probably do even more.
Jonny, I can see you got a project in your head.
I have can you see, there's a light bulb somewhere up here.
We will help you, Jonny.
It'd be awesome. But it's great to know that you could buy something like that, you know.
Absolutely.
A works engine, as it would have been called.
Absolutely right.
Brilliant. I like these. They look good. All right, food for thought here. Piston food for thought. Okay, what have we got in here?
Right, here we have Joe, one of our manufacturing specialists, working on manufacturing simulation. We virtually manufacture a crankshaft in that case.
I was going to say that looks like a crank.
It is. It is a billet machine crankshaft. Either prototype crankshafts
Yeah.
for the automotive industry, or they are expensive motor racing crankshafts for racing teams.
Billet cranks are expensive, right?
They are. It's the most expensive single component of most engines.
So is there any human part of that crank process apart from maybe the final quality control?
Only input, if you will.
Putting the material in?
Putting the material in, yeah, it's not actually physically touched by hand at all. Completely finished off of the machine, so you can run your hand over it, no rags, no sharp edges.
We are not currently involved in Formula One. I think if we were to do Formula One, we would have to do only Formula One.
Yeah.
So
You do more interesting stuff, like touring car and rally?
Maybe that's the case, that we do more interesting stuff. But certainly, what you see here is diverse stuff, from prototype OEM engines being worked on to motorsport racing power units.
Brilliant, this is great.
Thank you.
Can we see this machine? Okay, Ralph, CNC machine, big one, very big machine.
Yeah, so that's a 7-axis CNC machine, which means that within the same machine we will do turning and milling without human action, human intervention on the billet of material.
Go on then, how much of an investment was this machine?
A relatively big investment. Once installed and commissioned, it's best part of £1 million.
Wow. Okay. Am I allowed to put my head in it?
Yes, because everything is stopped, so,
Well, I just want to check,
it is safe.
The door's open.
What comes in is a billet of steel. What comes out is a crankshaft.
It's beautiful. Is that finished yet or not?
Not quite. It probably has another 4 or 5 hours of work.
Come on through. So this is like the loom room.
It is a loom room.
Loom room.
That is where we manufacture electric harnesses. They sit inside prototype cars, inside racing cars, inside classic cars that are made as new again, and connect the different electronic boxes and the sensors and the actuators.
This is the part of cars which terrifies me. Wiring. It really does.
I have to say that when you look at one of these connectors and realize how many wires there are, that each of them is of a different section, is of a different color, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It's all a very tricky job, and it's a precision art.
So in a world which is quite digital now, you still, I like this, you still have basically a whiteboard that you hang wires onto.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to visualize, I think.
Every company that makes small volume manufacture of these things uses that technique of a whiteboard.
Really?
In order to get the right lengths and the right pinouts.
What interesting looms have you made? What kind of cars?
So we can't say everything because some of the contracts we work on are confidential, but some of these products are for electric hypercars. Others are
electric
for
hypercars, of which there's not many at the moment.
Yeah, your guess.
Okay.
And
British or non-British?
I won't go further. And the other applications are classic cars that are made as new again, and then some racing cars. We also make them for our own engines, obviously. All sorts of racing applications.
What car is this one for?
I can't tell you, Jonny. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Try another way of asking.
All right, what about those ones over there that they're working on?
So I can talk more about those ones
can
over
you?
there.
Okay.
Let's go over there.
What am I looking at, Raf?
So you're looking at direct injection fuel pumps for a racing application, and they are fitted to our TOCA engines for the BTCC.
Right, okay.
The job is in progress, it's only partly done. So for racing applications, we always want to isolate the connector from vibration.
Okay.
So we first add a piece of loom and have the autosport connector at the end of it.
How much pressure? Because direct injection is crazy high
so
pressure.
these pumps can go up to 200 bars.
200 bar?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, what you don't want to happen is a fuel leak because that would make some damage.
Yeah, it really would.
Yeah.
That'll go through metal easily.
Yeah, it will create some damage, definitely.
Right, next room.
Next
You
row.
lead the way, I don't know where I'm going. That is
used.
That is showing your engineering prowess here at Swindon Power. If you want serious elastic band balls,
We should never forget that the basics are always still the most important things. So the elastic band, we need to take care of.
You see a lot of cable ties.
Yeah.
You see a lot of tape, and you see a lot of elastic bands. Okay, so Ralph, we've gone from dyno pistons, busy piston power, into the e-bike. So I've heard a lot about this. That's serious, isn't it?
So these are our e-bikes. It's a product that we've now taken to market.
Yeah.
You can buy this e-bike. It's the first and certainly the most powerful and sophisticated e-bicycle.
This is why I wanted to come here, because a company like yours, British company, such an unusual variety of projects.
That's right.
You've got the classic Mini outside with the drivetrain. You've got touring car engines in that corridor.
Indeed.
Billet cranks, this, that and the other, interesting CAD, e-bike. That's, a pretty serious looking e-bike as well.
This is all due to the ingenuity of our staff, of our engineers, of our technicians. They all have a huge passion. They're creative. This is something they have come up with. This was for sure not part of the plan for Swindon Power Train.
Is it really a bike? Is it classed as a bicycle?
It definitely is. It has pedals, and that's how you go forward, is by pressing on the pedals. Now we have also to be clear that this is what we call an off-highway vehicle.
Yeah.
It's a 60 miles per hour, 15 kilowatt e-bicycle. That's for use in the mountains, in the forests, not on the road.
Whoa, pause. 60 miles an hour?
60 miles per hour, but that's limited.
It's limited?
It could go faster than that.
Whoa. This is not an ordinary e-bike. There's some good e-bikes about, and I know it's a growing business, a really quick growing business, but I've read some of the literature about this. You class it as a hyper e-bike.
That's right. It is extreme in performance. It's extreme in its engineering. Every component is either high-grade aluminium, CNC machined, or carbon.
Wow.
And of course the battery pack is lithium-ion, and of course it's a brushless motor. And I could add that there is inside the frame a 9-speed sequential gearbox, and so on and so on.
9-speed sequential gearbox. How many kilowatts is the motor?
15 kilowatts in the hub. Yeah.
The gearbox is in there?
Yeah.
The battery pack's in this skeletal.
That's right.
This is it's a beautiful.
We can add that the battery pack is air-cooled. So you've got fans that are inside that section here, pull the air from these ducts through the pack, and the outlet of the cooling is here. So you can go up a mountain trail all day without overheating the battery pack.
And does it have regen braking?
Yes.
It does.
This lever here is for more or less regen.
Oh my gosh, this is
So you can actually enter a corner not using the brakes and only using regen.
Oh, okay. And this particular, I'm looking at this one because this looks savage with its slick tyres. It looks like a supermoto.
So this is our test machine, and the reason why it's on slick tires is so that we can give both the chassis but also the powertrain as much stress as possible, so it gets tested on a karting track.
A karting track? Mm-hmm. My gosh. Wow. I'm not riding this today, viewers, because I'll end up in hospital potentially. I'll have to work up to it. It's a brilliant looking thing. This is low volume. This is high end, high quality, low volume. Yeah. Is that a finished customer bike?
That's for a customer, exactly. I think it's leaving tomorrow.
It's going tomorrow? Okay. So I won't touch that. That's ready to rock and roll. How much is a bike like this?
So it's a little bit under £20,000.
Wow, okay. So proper money. So this is for sale now? You can order one of these now?
Absolutely, from our web shop, swind.life. If you find yourself in the middle of the forest on a trail with an orange KTM motorbike and you meet the old man and his dog, he's never going to be your friend.
No.
If you're pedaling on an electric bicycle that may give as much performance as any motocross bike, then you accept it.
Yeah, and it's silent.
That's right.
Yeah, no, obviously no.
Everyone is happy.
No tailpipe. Yeah.
No tailpipe.
But yet, seriously extreme.
Seriously extreme. It does 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds.
Does it?
Yeah.
Isn't it a great business to have, you know, the backstory of Formula One engines and rally and touring car and glorious piston power, which I have a massive appreciation for, you do as well. But obviously, you're looking ahead and going, there's also a serious place for stuff like this, that Mini out there. And let's move on now to the next chapter, which is your imminent launch of the plug and play, as you want to call it, kind of crate e-motor. Where's that? Is that in here? Where's the powertrain? Where is it?
It's there.
There?
Johnny, it's behind. It's
Is
behind
it?
this.
Has anybody got a trampoline?
It's behind this.
Let's have a look. I actually can't quite. I can't see. Is there a car back there?
There's a car.
Is there? Am I allowed to look but not say anything? Oh, bloody hell. Okay. This is the next big chapter for you guys, is it? The modular e-drivetrain that people like me can buy or other companies can buy, and it can be scaled up and down. I've seen your diagrams from like quad bikes and kind of Caterham and kit cars up to, I don't know, I could just go and buy a 7 Series BMW with a blown engine and put something in.
That's right, and there is also opportunities in the transportation industry with light delivery vehicles that need electrifying. There are many projects out there that are after a turnkey, cost-effective, light, compact e-powertrain, and that is the next chapter for our company, is to produce one of them.
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of vehicles out there which aren't necessarily broken. They've still got lots of life in them, but they want to make them more efficient. So instead of scrapping them or abandoning them, you use the vehicle, you take the heart out and you replace the heart.
So there are, in the world of electrification, there are two kinds. There is, as you say, electrification of existing vehicles, older vehicles, but there are also many projects that are looking at making electric vehicles of a specific kind, and they are lower volume, and thereafter an e-powertrain that hopefully we can supply to them.
Depending on when this video goes out, I will put as many details as I'm allowed to put on about the e-drivetrain. I can't see behind there. I'll get told off if I jump up and down. But I hope you've enjoyed this. It's a very, very interesting company here, and I look forward to seeing what comes next, and I look forward to seeing the prices.
You will come back, Johnny.
I'd love to come back.
Yeah.
And see, you know, the stuff that's in there. But thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Keep doing what you do.
Thank you. It's all down to our engineers. They keep coming up with new ideas and keep transforming their ideas into realities. And that's what's wonderful. And that's what makes Swindon Power Train.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for watching Car Pervert. I hope you've enjoyed this slightly alternative tour. I love businesses like this, and I'll be bringing a few of these to your attention over the next year or so. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, and thanks very much for all your comments and likes. Much appreciated.